Lesson 2-7, percent of change. So the percent of change is the ratio of change in an amount to the original number expressed as a percent. So the change in a number expressed as a percent. The percent of increase is when the new number is greater than the original number. Percent of decrease is when the new number is less than the original number. So you will see that we have to calculate the percent as well as say, is it an increase or a decrease? So for this example below, we're going to calculate the percent of increase. We can see that it's an increase because the original number is less than the final number. So the final number is more than when it started, so the number increased. So we would say that it's an increase. Now we just have to calculate the percent in which it increased. So to do that, you subtract the original amount from the final amount. So the final amount minus the original amount, which will get you 3. So your change is 3. And you use your original number as your base for a fraction. So 3 out of 20 is the change. Well, then we want to set that equal to some number over 100. The reason we're setting it over 100 is because a percent is out of 100. So r out of 100. So when you go to solve for r, you can cross multiply and you get 3 times 100 equals 20r. So 300 equals 20r. You can divide both sides by 20 and you're going to get r equals 15. So therefore you can say your percent of increase is 15%. Here's an example of a percent of decrease. Your original number was 25 and you decreased it to 17. So you do the same thing. You take, in this case, you actually subtract the original amount from the final amount, which is exactly what we did last time, but this way it's going to give us a negative. So your final minus your original is going to give you a negative 8. So we know that it's a decrease, so we go ahead and we write that because our original number decreased to get our final, and then we solve the same way we just did. We have negative 8. Our denominator is always our original number. We always set it to some number over 100, and we solve. So we have 8 times 100 equals 25r. Divide, so then we have negative 800 is 25r. So r would equal negative 32. Well, we're not going to say a negative 32%. We're just going to write it as a 32%. And then we make sure we include the word decrease to represent the negative. Pause the video to try the few examples. Determine if the change is increase or decrease and calculate the percent. So for the first example, our original number is 66, our final number is 30. So that is an example of a decrease. And when you calculate everything out, you should have gotten a 55% decrease. The next one is 24 is our original number and 40 is our final number. That's an increase because the number started at 24 and it increased to 40. So we can say that it is an increase and it is a 66.7% increase. When we are solving for the percent of change, we can also do this in the form of word problems. So in the example here, the number of cruise ships in North America increased 18% from 2000 to 2004. If there were 192 ships in 2005, how many were there in 2004? Or 2000, sorry. So if we first identify our important information, we have 18%, we have 192, and so now we want to calculate the change. So we first want to set up the equation, and so we're going to let C be the number of ships in 2000. So the number of ships in 2000, and this is actually what we're solving for. And since 18% is a percent of increase, the number of cruise ships in 2000 is less than that are in 2005. So we write our equation as 192 minus C, but then we also have to divide by C. And we're going to set that equal to our percent, which is 18 over 100. So now we begin solving, and we first want to multiply both sides by C and multiply by 100 to get rid of our fractions. So we have 192 minus C times 100 equals 18C. If we distribute in the 100, we get 19,200 equals 100C equals 18C. Subtract 100, add 100 to both sides, so you get 19,200 equals 118C. Then you can divide both sides by 118, and you get C equals 163. So that means that the approximate number of ships in 2000 was 163. Another form of percent of change is sales tax. So the first thing you want to do is you need to determine what the tax is. You add the tax to the price, and then you find the total price of the item with the tax. So for the example here, a new DVD costs $24.99. If the sales tax is 6.85%, what is the total cost? So we know that the tax is 6.85%. So you then take the tax, the 0.685%, and you multiply that by your total, because it's 6.85% of the $24.99. And we know that the word of means multiply. So you have 6.85%, but we're not able to multiply percents. We have to change that into a decimal first. So to do that, you have to move your decimal point 2 places to the left. So we have 0.0685 times 24.99. You always want to make sure that you turn the percent into a decimal so that you can get your accurate answer. And for this, we get approximately 1.71. So that tells us that the tax that you're going to be paying is $1.71. But that's not how much you're paying total. So now you have to go back and you have to add this number to the original price. So the $24.99 plus the $171, which would give you your approximate answer of $26.70. So when you went to the cash register, you would be paying $26.70 for an item. This is why when you go to the store and you see an item on the counter and it says, $1.99, but when you get to the register, it's a different price. It's because you're paying for the sales tax of that item. Another form of percent of change that we see is discount. So you first have to determine the discount amount, so the price of the discount, and you want to subtract that from the original price. So in this example, a picture frame originally priced $14.89 is on sale for 40% off. So we need to find 40% of the 1489 because we have to figure out how much it is off. So to do that, again, you turn this into a decimal and you multiply by your number. Always remember to turn that number into a decimal, and you will get $5.96 approximately. That means that you are going to take away $5.96 from the original item because that's how much the item is off. So you're going to take 1489 and you're going to subtract the 596, which will give you $8.93. So if it's 40% off, when you get to the register, you would be paying $8.93. These are just a few shortcuts when it comes to figuring out discount, because discount is actually something that you can figure out very quickly in a store, just doing it mentally in your head. If it's a 10% off discount, you just move the decimal one place to the left. That is the amount that is being discounted. So that's the amount you're going to take off of an item. So if a shirt says that it's $15.99 and it's 10% off, if you move the decimal one place, it's going to be $1.59 off. When you do that, you can also calculate the 20 to 40% range because you move that decimal one place and then you just multiply the number in your head by 2, 3, or 4, depending on if it's a 20%, 30%, or 40% discount. And then 50% is always half of the original price. So if it says that something is $20 and it's 50% off, you're going to pay $10 plus tax at the register. Pause the video to complete the lesson review. Make sure you show me the lesson review when you are receiving verification for this video.